The sports card market has started the new year on fire. But which cards are going up the most? We'll tell you next in today's Top 5 Cards. Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to another Top 5 Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed the College National Championship game last night. Congratulations to Michigan. We might have a little bit of college football cards in today's Top 5. We'll see here in just a minute. And of course, today's Top 5 is sponsored by Whatnot. Whatnot has awesome live auctions every day and night starting at just $1 for packs, boxes, breaks, singles, and more. It's a lot of fun. And if you scan the QR code on your screen or use the special link in our show description below, you'll get $10 in free credit when you sign up for Whatnot. Okay, let's start, guys, by taking a quick look at the overall sports card market by looking at the market pulse by market movers. And we're looking here at the SCI 500 index of 500 of the most prominent sports cards. It is up over the last 30 days. It is slightly up so far this year. This is a good sign. We often see the sports card market do pretty well at the end of December, and January is typically a pretty good month. Of course, we have the NFL playoffs right around the corner, so that should cause football cards to continue to be hot. And in fact, you can see that football from 2018 to 2020 is the best performing category of sports cards right now. No surprise with the playoffs upon us. But now let's talk about some of the cards that are going up and down the most. It's time for today's Top 5. We're starting today with a cold card, and today it's Trevor Lawrence. Wow. The reason why we start with a cold card every week is because it's a reminder that oftentimes the cards that are featured on this show as the hot cards sometimes cool off in the weeks ahead, and that is exactly what has happened with Trevor Lawrence. His cards were red hot if you go back 6 or 7 weeks ago because the Jags were on a big win streak, and they looked at it at a point like they could even become maybe the number 1 overall seed in the AFC. But then the Jags lost their last 5 regular season games. Nobody saw that coming, and they missed the playoffs. Of course, Trevor Lawrence was injured for one of those games. He did come back this last week to play the Titans, but it didn't matter. The Jags lost to the Titans. They have missed the playoffs, and you can imagine that losing streak and missing the playoffs is going to mean bad things for Trevor Lawrence's card prices, and we're starting to see that play out in the sports card market right now. Let's look at market movers to look at the data here, and you can see what I'm talking about. Look at the drop on the right side of the graph, particularly in the last few days since they lost to the Titans. All of these cards are starting to tumble down, and the cards that we're looking at are 5 of Trevor Lawrence's rookie cards from 2021. His Prism Silver in PSA 9 and in raw condition. We're not looking at the PSA 10 because there hasn't been a recent sale of that. We're looking at the Optic Holo in PSA 10, the Club Level Silver from Select in PSA 10, and the Mosaic Silver in PSA 10. And all of these cards, if we switch to look at the details, look, a lot of red here, guys. All of these cards are down anywhere between about 20% and all the way up at about 39%. The Prism Silver in PSA 9s dropped from $199 to $110. In raw condition, from $116 down to $71. The Optic Holo has dropped from $306 30 days ago to $246 today. The Club Level Silver from $121 to around $79. And the Mosaic has dropped from $105 down to $70. Man, this is an unfortunate end to the season for Trevor Lawrence and his card markets. But now let's talk about cards going up, and we're starting with an investment card. Rickey Henderson's cards have done really well this past year in the sports card markets. Of course, you guys probably know that Rickey Henderson is one of the greatest leadoff hitters of all time, also one of the best base stealers of all time, a really exciting player to watch on the diamond, and a lot of people have a lot of great memories of Rickey Henderson and trying to chase his rookie card from 1980 Topps. That card, by the way, in PSA 10 condition is extremely rare, will sell in the 6 figures. And the last few sales of that card, it only sells maybe once a year or so, but the last few sales of that card have all been up from the sale before. But let's look at his price charts in PSA 9 and PSA 8 because these are a little bit more affordable. And you can see that over the course of the last 365 days, these cards have been pretty stable. In fact, they are up a decent amount during a time when the sports card market overall was down. So this is impressive to see. The PSA 9 of Rick Anderson's 1980 Topps base card was $1,500 a year ago. Today, it will set you back $1,780. So that's a nice gain there over the course of the last year. And the PSA 8 of that card went from $220 a year ago to $270. It seems like Henderson, his cards continue to blaze trails just like he did on the base pass. They continue to blaze trails in the sports card market. But now let's talk about players playing today. And we are starting with Caitlyn Clark, the women's basketball star for the University of Iowa. What a season she is having. She's likely going to be the #1 pick in the next WNBA draft, and for good reason. For Iowa this season, she is averaging over 31 points per game, over 7 rebounds per game, over 7 assists per game. She has Iowa at a 15-1 record, ranked #4 in the country. And of course, she is the driving force of that team. The attendance, by the way, at Iowa women's basketball games has been absolutely off the chart. There's a ton of interest in Caitlyn Clark, and there's also a lot of interest in her sports cards. Let's take a look here in Market Movers, and you can see how these cards are nicely rising on the graph. The ones that we're looking at are her 2022 Bowman's Best University Refractor card, her 2022 Bowman's Best University Best of 2022 Autograph Refractor card there, her 2022 Bowman University Inception card, and her 2022 Bowman Chrome University Refractor from standard Bowman Chrome U there. All of these in PSA 10 condition. All of these cards up quite a bit over the last 30 days, anywhere between 22% and 26% increases. The one of these that's gone up the most from a dollar standpoint is that autograph card, the 2022 Bowman's Best University, Best of 2022 Autographs. You could have bought that card 30 days ago for $410 in PSA 10 condition. Most recently sold for $510. So a nice increase in those cards. It's exciting to see some upwards movement in women's basketball. It's an exciting sport right now. They got a lot of great young players, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens when Caitlyn Clark's first WNBA cards come out in the future. Let's go to the gridiron for the #4 card today. It is Justin Fields, and maybe a little bit of a surprise because, of course, Fields' season is now over. The Chicago Bears ended the year 7-10. Didn't quite maybe live up to the expectations that some people had for the Bears this season, but Fields picked up his game. He looked good at times, particularly late in the season, and I think that there's a lot of people that are hopeful that next year Justin Fields is really going to have that breakout season that some expected him to have this year. Of course, the Bears also have very high draft picks, so it's possible for them to put more weapons around him too. So Justin Fields will probably be talked about a lot during the offseason, and that's going to help his card prices, and they have been going up quite a bit over the last 30 days. Let's take a look here in Market Movers, and you can see the nice upwards movement on these cards on the graph there on the right side. The 5 cards that we're looking at here are his 2021 Prism Base and Prism Silver in PSA 10, as well as his 2021 Prism Laser in PSA 10, and his Optic Hollow and his Optic Blue Scope in PSA 10. All of these cards up anywhere between 20% and all the way up at 52%. That Blue Scope from Optic in PSA 10 went from about $53 to about $81 over the course of the last 30 days. The Prism Silver went from $217 to $287. That's an increase of $70 over the course of the last 30 days. So hey, Justin Fields ending the season strong. His cards could be hot in the offseason. We're going to college football for the #3 spot today. It is Michael Penix Jr., the quarterback for the University of Washington. Of course, Unfortunately, they fell a little short the other night against the University of Michigan. It was a good game. Penix did get beat up a little bit in that game, but he had his moments. But the week prior, when they beat Texas 37-31 to advance to the College Football National Championship, Penix had himself a real game then. Threw for 430 yards and 2 touchdowns. An incredible season overall, and he probably, almost absolutely, is going to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft, maybe a top 2 pick in the upcoming NFL draft. So there's a lot of people that are excited about Penix, and they are excited about his sports cards because they're going up right now in the sports card market. Let's take a look here. Wow, look at that graph. Look at these things go up here on the right side of this graph, especially since that win over Texas. That's what really caused these cards to shoot up. And the 3 cards that we're looking at, we've got his 2021 Bowman Chrome Prospect Auto Refractor card. That was his first Bowman card from 2021. So that card's gone up quite a bit. And then his 2023 Bowman Chrome from this year's Bowman Chrome, his Prospect Auto card, as well as the Fuchsia Mini Diamond Refractor of that card, numbered to 150. All 3 of these cards up anywhere between about 72% and 106%. By the way, all of these cards in raw condition. It is that 2023 Bowman Chrome Prospect Auto card that was $78 30 days ago, most recently sold for $161. That card has more than doubled over the last 30 days. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Penix's cards as we approach the NFL draft here in a few months. In the number 2 spot today, a guy whose cards have been spectacularly hot for weeks, Lamar Jackson. He's been in the top 5. I think he was number 1 maybe last week in the top 5. You've heard his name a good amount on this channel, and for good reason. He is the favorite, the overwhelming favorite to win the NFL MVP, probably has that award very, very locked up. Of course, he led the Ravens to a 13-4 record. They are the number 1 seed in the AFC, and he did it in spectacular fashion, beating teams like Miami, beating him down, and of course, the big win over San Francisco as well. His stats were great this season. Almost 3,700 passing yards, 24 touchdowns to just 7 interceptions, but then of course over 800 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns rushing as well, because he is that ultimate dual threat quarterback. His cards continue to go up. Let's take a look here in Market Movers, and you can see how these things have just been moving up and up and up over the course of the last 30 days. The cards that we're looking at are his 2018 Donruss Base, Optic Base, Prism Base, and Prism Silver. The first 3 cards in PSA 10 condition, the Prism Silver and PSA 9, because there hasn't been a lot of PSA 10 sales of that card recently. All of these cards anywhere up between about 30% and about 75%. How about that Donruss Base card? It was about $83 30 days ago. $146 is the most recent sale of that card. You could have picked that one up and flipped it for a nice $63 profit here over the course of the last 30 days. The Prism Silver in PSA 9 has gone from $455 to $589. That is a $134 increase over the last 30 days. It's pretty safe to say that no matter what Lamar Jackson card you have, it's hot in the market right now. All right, it's time for today's number 1 card, but before I give it to you, let me remind you that all of these charts and graphs are from Market Movers, and guys, we have been signing up new Market Movers members by the hundreds in the last few weeks. It has been a great subscription run for Market Movers, and for good reason. The sports card market's heating up a little bit as we get into the new year. People want to use Market Movers to track the price movements of sports cards and also track their collection, and you should try it as well. And you can try it for free. Just go to sportscardinvestor.com and click Market Movers in the main menu bar, or go to the App Store on your phone and download the Market Movers app. You can try it free in either place. Okay, guys, for the number 1 card today, it's the only quarterback hotter than Lamar Jackson. It's Jordan Love. Jordan Love's cards are outpacing Lamar Jackson's cards because Jordan Love really heated up at the end of the season. He defeated the Chicago Bears this past weekend 17-9 to get Green Bay into the playoffs, into one of those NFC wildcard spots, which is a really big deal. And his numbers this year, pretty good. Over 4,100 yards passing, 32 touchdowns to just 11 interceptions. And he seemed to get better as the season went on. Let's take a look here in Market Movers, and you can see how Jordan Love's cards have really been on the rise, particularly over the last week since they made the playoffs. The cards of his that we're looking at here, I'm looking at 6 of his cards. I've got his 2020 Mosaic Base, his Mosaic Pink Camo, his Mosaic Reactive Gold, and his Mosaic Reactive Orange, all in PSA 10 condition. I've also got his Prism Base in PSA 10 and his Prism Silver in PSA 10. And if you look at the details on these cards, they're all up a lot. The Prism Silver, that's up the least, only about 8%, but still, that card has gone from $600 to $650. Not bad over the course of the last 30 days. But the rest of these cards are up as much as 54%. That Mosaic Pink Camo went from $41 to $63 over the course of the last 30 days. Nice increases across the board with all of these cards. And of course, if you happen to have some higher end Jordan Love cards, you're probably doing particularly well on those right now from a dollar standpoint too. It's exciting to see Green Bay and Jordan Love make the playoffs. I always love it when young players live up to their potential and their cards heat up as a result. It is great to see for all of you Jordan Love collectors out there. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, please give it a like, please give it a subscribe, and go get Market Movers right now. Go to sportscardinvestor.com, click Market Movers in the main menu bar, or download the Market Movers app from the App Store on your phone. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. Take care.